Thank you so much for attending my PowerPoint presentation on Legion Commander, the hero for divorcees. Legion Commander is a melee strength offlaner whose most iconic feature is Duel, her ultimate, which forces an opposing hero to engage in a right-click only deathmatch until either the timer expires or one of the participants dies. It is a very long duration BKB piercing unit target stun that also grants permanent bonus damage to the winner. As we all know, Dota 2 players love to see number go up, which is why Legion Commander is one of the most popular heroes in the history of the game, and a very common pick for role queuers who happen to get position 3. In a more practical sense, this allows Legion Commander to identify a major threat on the enemy team, and then bully them until they no longer want to play the game. Outside of Duel, she also has an interesting toolbox of spells, including a hard dispel and a very good illusion clear ability that's also giving her a moon shard every time she pops it. The downside to this is that Legion Commander is accidentally countered by like a fifth of the entire cast of the game. On the bright side, she also synergizes with just as many heroes. She is also ambiguously a lesbian. We don't know for sure, but on an old Steam forum post, a developer seemed to verify a comment that referred to her as one, and that's the best that we've got. She and Storm Spirit, I believe, are the only confirmed LGBT characters in the game. Notably, Storm is confirmed because an enemy hero calls him a slur. If that weren't enough, she's also ambiguously racist against everyone. Oftentimes, whenever she gets a kill, she'll comment that she never trusts an elf, or a wizard, or a fish, or a bear, or anything like that. The only thing she seems to respect is mustaches. First, let's talk about Duel. As mentioned earlier, this is a long-duration BKB piercing stun that forces the enemy hero to hit you over and over and over again while you return the same. Blocking an enemy hero in the Thunderdome will usually result in one of your deaths. Now on paper, this sounds like it would be a fair fight, it's just your right clicks against theirs. But there are several reasons as to why it's not a fair fight at all, and it's honestly kind of bullshit. The first is because Legion Commander's right click is very good. The second is because she can use overwhelming odds during the duel, which is notably not a right click at all. This is a giant magical AoE nuke that also buffs her attack speed by a ridiculous amount. If you've chosen the Facet Stonehull plate, it will also grant her a physical damage barrier for a portion of the damage dealt. It also deals increasing damage based on the number of units affected by the spell. While neither player can use items during the duel, Legion Commander can pop Blade Mail beforehand in order to make all of their damage affect them too. Lastly, after a successful duel, Legion Commander's Press the Attack will automatically trigger and heal her and give a movement speed boost afterwards. The result is a fair fight that is actually not fair in the goddamn slightest. The nature of Duel also makes it so that many items and abilities that are used to counter unit target spells just don't work against it. If an anti-mage casts counterspell, he is now casting the Duel on the Legion Commander and the same damn thing happens. If you throw down a Lotus Orb on your carry and he gets dueled, the same damn thing happens. The only real counterplay option is a Lincoln Sphere, but Legion Commander is really good at picking up a Heaven's Halberd or occasionally a Force Staff, using that to pop it and then dueling before they can properly react in time. A big part of playing against Legion Commander is resigning yourself to the fact that you will get dueled, and the fact that you almost assuredly will lose that duel. Legion Commander's bonus damage from Duel scales very logically from 10 to 20 to 30, unless she goes Spoils of War, in which case all of her friendly heroes that participated in the duel will get half of the duel damage as a bonus. This means that a single duel victory can actually provide up to 95 damage to her team, assuming that she won Spoils of War and has the Aghanim Shard. That shard retroactively boosts all of her duel damage by 5 for every duel that she wins, meaning that even if she has rough duel damage, she can pick up a shard and now suddenly it's alright. In losing games, be sure to sell some items and buy a shard at the last second so that everyone can see that your duel damage was actually pretty solid in the post-game chat. While Duel is enough to make a hero all on its own, Legion Commander also has a couple of other interesting abilities that you may or may not have heard of. Overwhelming Odds is an AoE magical nuke centered around LC herself that deals a ton of damage, and with Stonehull Plate helps her be an absolute lane monster. The damage scales to an insane degree based on how many units and heroes are around her, so you can confidently blink into 5 heroes and hope for the best. She also has Press the Attack, which is one of the single best dispels in the entire game. With a very low cast point and a reasonable mana cost, she can get rid of any stun, debuff, targeted effect, basically anything that isn't Doom from an allied hero or herself. It also grants a decent chunk of movement speed, allowing that hero to get out of dodge before the HP regen is up. Legion Commander has so many counters that there are some games where you just wind up being a third support, using Press the Attack in order to dispel things off of your mid and carry and let them do the hard work while you watch from the sidelines to kill a Crystal Maiden at 100 HP. Her passive, Moment of Courage, also gives her a significant chunk of lifesteal and is a big part of her insane lane presence. Hitting Legion Commander could potentially proc Moment of Courage, causing her to counterattack and deal a huge chunk of damage along with lifesteal. This helps make up for her rather middling attack speed when she doesn't have Overwhelming Odds active. Now, Legion Commander is one of the most played heroes for a reason. She has an excellent lane matchup spread, infinite damage scaling potential, and the hero will be racist against the enemy team all on its own even if you have no interest in participating. Her play pattern is also more reminiscent of an assassin-type carry like a PA or a Slark, which makes her very popular for people role queuing. If you want to join the myriad LC players who all have a very unique take on the hero, here's what you can do. First, when it comes to the lane, be sure to trade carefully. Your Q does a lot more damage if you're surrounded by enemy creeps and heroes, and the AoE is shockingly big, so try to be in the middle of everything opposing you whenever you cast it to get the most benefit. I personally prefer going Stonehall Plate over Spoils of War, because when you cast it in the lane, you can immediately begin A-clicking the enemy heroes and there's not really anything they can do about it. In terms of item progression, stick with your brown boots, go for the blade mail first because you can potentially get a duel or farm creeps without blink, and then you're going to want to go ahead and pick up the dagger. Once you have those two items, you can basically spend the next 20 to 30 minutes skulking in trees, waiting for a hero to waddle out on their own so you can blink in and kill them. Repeat ad nauseum and stack up as much damage as you can. You can participate in team fights, but you're not going to be doing so in the same way that most other offlaners do. You can initiate by jumping on a hero when they have all of their teammates surrounding them, but that's kind of rough to do before Aghanim's Scepter. Instead, try to locate a support in the back of the fight who hasn't cast their spells yet. Jump on them, cast Duel and Odds, and then watch as Chaos takes over while the enemy team is split between facing your front line and dealing with you in the back. Aghanim's Scepter, by the way, is an insane pickup on this hero. It extends the duration of Duel to a ludicrous degree and also gives you spell immunity during it. This means that you can oftentimes skip BKB, though it can still be a solid pickup, and outside of that, it's all about multiplying your already ridiculous damage. Assault Cuirass is an obvious choice, you benefit quite a bit from the attack speed and the armor reduction, and if you really need to pile on damage, you can go crits in the form of a Daedalus. Note that the attack speed from Overwhelming Odds makes you unexpectedly good at hitting buildings, so once the fight is over, be sure to stick with the team and move with them to take any objectives. Just remember that no matter how you choose to participate in team fights, the ultimate goal of Legion Commander is to make number go up. As long as you do that, you may or may not win, but you'll always have fun. I wrote a little bit here about the design philosophy behind infinite scaling mechanics in Dota. Feel free to read it if you like. Now, if you're tired of losing to LC, and I don't blame you one bit, here's how to counter her. First off, you can counterpick her on accident. The draft screen is an absolute minefield for Legion Commander because so many different heroes interact with Duel in interesting ways. These 12, which are spread across all 5 positions, are just the examples I could think of in the time it takes to pick a hero on the draft screen. As it turns out, lots of heroes in Dota 2 enjoy when their opponents stand still for an extended period of time. It's true that getting Aghanim's Scepter on this hero does negate some of those counters, but ones that affect your allies, like Oracle's False Promise or OD's Astral Imprison, will always be useful no matter what. While the draft is a great way to counter her, and Oracle on its own can't use False Promise to counter LC, so the second thing you have to do is stay with the team. Legion Commander specializes in picking off heroes that decide to go off on their own. If you see a creep wave on your half of the map being pushed in, be wary that an LC might just be hiding in the trees waiting for some unlucky schmuck to waddle up and turn into duel damage. Make sure to always have a buddy with you when you're playing against LC, and if you can both counter LC, even better. In the unlikely chance that somehow your draft doesn't accidentally counter LC, there's also a couple of different items that you can go. Use Yule's Scepter on LC to propel her up into the air and prevent the duel from reaching its full duration. Solar Crest is good because of the physical damage block that it provides, and then Heaven's Halberd as a disarm is always good. I talked a little bit about Lincoln Sphere earlier. It's really only good for negating her mid-game power spike. If you can get it without her realizing it and use it to waste Duel in a team fight, it's an excellent choice. But overall, she's eventually going to farm a Heaven's Halberd or a Force Staff and start popping it and dueling you anyway. If you are going to go Lincoln Sphere, I highly recommend just leaving the Ultimate Orb or the Perseverance in your stash until you have the full item done. As soon as she sees that you're going the item, she will drop whatever she's doing and carry around half an Aghanim's Scepter in her inventory in order to save up for a Heaven's Halberd and continue to duel you over and over again. Lastly, and this is for the support players, proactive vision is really important with LC. Don't worry about clever ward spots, just put them down in the most obvious places possible. LC players do not buy sentries, it's just not in their nature. In conclusion, Legion Commander is a very fun hero, and you should absolutely play her. Channel the rage of having to pay alimony into the enemy carry during the lane, and later on you can pretend they're your ex-wife whenever you cast her ultimate. Peace on planet Earth.